Good afternoon. I hope your long Madaraka Day weekend is coming along just fine. This is KTN Weekend at 1 this 31st day of May 2015. My name is Yvonne Okwara Matole. Let's start off with what's happening in Tanzania. President Uhuru Kenyatta has already left the country for Tanzania to attend the East African Cooperation's second emergency meeting on the political situation in Burundi. The presidents of South Africa and Angola will also attend the meeting. This is the second time the leaders are meeting this month to review the situation in Burundi. Now, during an earlier summit convened by EAC Chair President Jakaya Kikwete of Tanzania, the leaders recommended that elections in Burundi be postponed, but not beyond the mandate of the current government. The leaders noted that the conditions in Burundi were not conducive for elections to be held as scheduled by the National Electoral Commission. Burundi President Pierre Nkurunziza, who will not be attending the summit, insists the election must be held under the current circumstances and has declined to get his name off the ballot. The heads of state of Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania and Kenya are meeting in the Tanzanian port city to tackle the crisis in Burundi stemming from Nkurunziza's controversial bid to stand for a third term in office. Now, you remember that it was during the first crisis meeting on the 13th of May in Tanzania's capital, attended by Nkurunziza himself, that a top general launched an unsuccessful bid to oust him. The Burundi capital, Bujumbura, has been hit by weeks of civil unrest that has left at least 30 people dead in a major crackdown. Burundi's government insisted Friday that parliamentary elections will go ahead on the 5th of June, despite the ongoing political crisis. The presidential poll is slated for June the 26th. We want to bring you back to the country and take you to Mombasa County now. And we told you about this story earlier, the crisis of flooding there. And we are joined on phone now by John Juma, who's our reporter there, to just give us an update. We understand there's been further destruction as well as loss of life today. John, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Could you bring us up to speed with the latest events? We understand destruction of property and one person has died?
True, Yvonne Okwara, we experienced heavy downpour last night, and this morning we've just witnessed a body being retrieved in Kalahari area where a landslide was experienced. And the neighbors there say that the real tenant has not been seen, and the body could belong to a visitor, raising fears that there could be a body still. When I left the place, more search was still being conducted by a team from the Mombasa County government. We also visited areas of Kisauni, and I can confirm that we witnessed several destructions. A family escaped death narrowly when a section of their house that comprised of washroom, kitchen, and the walls collapsed and caved in. So far, Mombasa County government responded in the area and rescued the members of that family. Just next to Nyali Bridge, the empty shaft, a wall also collapsed and several houses destroyed in that area. I managed to speak to the chairman of the Mombasa Disaster Committee, who also happens to be the county executive in charge of land, Ahmed Foya, and says that the entire area of Kiembeni is submerged. And what they're doing right now is that they're demolishing some of the walls which were constructed, blocking the waterways and some rivers in that area.
Interesting. The entire region of Kiembeni submerged. Just remind us again some of these areas that are flood prone at the coast with the ongoing heavy rains there.
Yes, so we have areas of Kiembeni, we have areas of Pune, Mshomoro, Changamwe and Miritini. Remember, just 2 days ago, the Mombasa County government issued a warning that they were expecting some landslides owing to the heavy rain, and they advised people, residents of those areas which I've mentioned, to consider vacating from those areas. And maybe some heeded to that advice, others didn't. And from the look of things, if the rain continues, then God forbid, we're likely to experience more destruction.
All right, finally, John, I know you've spoken to the county officials. Are they talking about compensation? That is the same issue that residents of Nairobi were facing when the floods hit the capital. What about compensation for those who have lost their property?
The officials from Mombasa County government are still hesitant on that issue. What they're saying that the most important thing at the moment is to evacuate those who are in risky areas and advise those who are still adamant that they need to move out. Then the question of compensation, then that can come later on.
All right, thank you very much, John Juma, who is keeping tabs on the situation in Mombasa with the current floods, talking about the flood-prone areas like Kiembeni, Mshomoroni, Changamwe. One person died last night in a landslide there, and we will continue to keep an eye on what's happening in Mombasa. Thank you very much, John Juma, for that. Now, we want to move away from that and talk about go into history for just a minute. Kenya was one of the first African countries to establish the SOS Children's Home. It was founded in 1971. Now, the SOS homes have provided a safe haven and upbringing for thousands of children, some of whom have risen to positions of responsibility in various sectors of society. All right, I'm told we are working on getting you that story right now. Let's take a short commercial break right here on KTN Weekend at 1. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. Now, Kenyans have hit to social media once again with criticism and outrage over the proposed regulations to control the production and sale of fresh produce. Of particular concern to most people are the proposals to remove that lady or man who sells at random corners in the estate and restrict them to designated marketplaces. KTN's senior reporter Carol Nderi took the regulations out to the mama mbogas, and this is the story that came out.
KOT were at it again. The hashtag Mama Mboga was all the rage, with Kenyans taking to Twitter to express their fury over the proposed laws that will regulate the sale of certain fresh produce. Tweets came in fast and furious, a majority in support of that Mama Mboga who sells her produce in the estates. Now, here is the contention. A set of rules proposed by the government-based authority, Agriculture, Fisheries and Food Authority, bears heavily on the Mama Mboga as she cannot continue with business as usual. Men too partake in this estate's greengrocer business. The proposed regulations, as stipulated in Section 27, state that certain produce can only be sold at designated areas such as markets with the approval of the authority and the county governments. This list states which foods will be regulated. It comprises cereals such as maize, rice, millet, sorghum, wheat, legumes such as beans, soya beans, cowpeas, pigeon peas, and roots and tubers such as Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, and cassava. Whoever will sell these foods outside specific market areas will be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 500,000 shillings or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 1 year, or both. Teresa Wangare is a greengrocer, and this is the business that feeds her 2 children. The new rules do not make sense to her, she says.
Ukiwaambia mtu atoe hiyo fine ya 500, atatoa wapi? Na ukiuza kitu kama nyanya, boga, haiwezi kutoresha kwa mahitaji yako na uko na watoto. Sasa wanataka tuende wapi?
Views expressed by her fellow greengrocers in the estates.
Na sisi sote hatuwezi toshea kwa kuandikwa, ndio tunakuwa self-employed.
Sasa hii nimeomba tu pahali ninaoshea nini mboga zangu, naenda nje. Sababu sina pahali, imejaa completely.
To many, the Mama Mboga Kibanda is a one-stop shop where they can conveniently buy food partly prepared for them, such as chopped sukuma wiki, peeled potatoes, boiled beans, you name it. A favorite especially for career people who get home late from work and in between traffic jams and the hassle have no time for elaborate dinner preparations. From Elgeyo Marakwet, where potato farmers and vendors abound.
So nafikiri tegemeo kuu hapa area hii ni viazi. Na vile kaunti wanasema kwamba watu wauzaji wa viazi waondoke kwa hii barabara, itakuwa ikipoteza sasa mapato, maana wanategemea wale watu ambao wanatoka Eldoret, wengine wanatoka Rapin.
Habari sio kama watu kwenda kanto. Kama nataka ile pesa yenu kidogo hiyo naweza lakini naweza hurumia hawa. Unajua hii hata hii pesa kidogo kidogo hii hawezi kupata. Hii pesa hii hawa kitabu. Hakuna pesa.
To Thika in Kiambu County, where traders aggressively sell all kinds of agricultural produce.
Kitu kaa hii waru nauza kidogo, tuminzi nauza kidogo, at least napata tu riziki yangu.
The proposed rules have shaken the country long before they are approved by stakeholders. And as the regime debate continues, what remains to be seen is what direction the stakeholders will take in light of the views expressed by the traders themselves, and that is of anger and disbelief. Carol Derry, KTN, Nyeri.
And like Carol Derry tells us, that debate actually began quite robustly on social media. Here's a tweet from Daniel Fundi. He says, someone thought he can monopolize the supply of vegetables. Mama Mboga does it better. That debate carries on Twitter. If you're a fan, the hashtag is Mama Mboga. Well, it's a warm welcome to KTN's latest personalities, Michelle Ngele and Jamal Gaddafi, who won this year's The Presenter contest. The two were among 4 finalists who featured in a grand finale gala last night. There were 21 contestants in the 21-week competition, and these were selected from the initial 6,000 people who applied for consideration for the 2 positions. The winners take up their new jobs at KTN immediately. In fact, they hosted Russia last night. Be sure to keep it here to catch up with them and see how they fare in the media industry. Here now is part of the action that ushered in these 2 new media personalities.
Ladies and gentlemen, Abdullah Ahmed. Another round of applause. Jamal Gaddafi. Okay. Are you ready to find out the winner? These 2 will be joining a team of award-winning on-air personalities. They'll be joining the best team in Kenyan television. Who's it gonna be?
The winner in the editorial category is I can't read this. Michelle Ngele. The winner is Jamal Gaddafi. We've continued to champion transformation in our country. I will do so tonight as we welcome the 2 winners. I say no more. You'll be welcome home, to the home of talent, to where we at KTN can only. Nobody can do it as we can do. And we say this: Kenya can.
And indeed, we welcome them to the home of talent. All the funfair is over now. It's getting down to business, and we'll show you by the time we're done with those two personalities. Like we said last night, they will be a force to reckon with. Welcome, Michelle Ngele, Jamal Gaddafi, to the home of talent that is KTN. Now, tomorrow marks Kenya's 52nd Madaraka Day celebrations to mark the attainment of our nation's independence. President Uhuru Kenyatta is scheduled to lead the official ceremony at the Nyayo National Stadium. Addressing the press, Regional Coordinator Njoroge Ndirango assured Kenyans that security has been beefed up ahead of the event.
The gates to Nyayo Stadium will be open from 6 a.m. and all are expected to be seated by 8 a.m. I wish to make an appeal that we come early to avoid inconveniences. As we celebrate Madaraka Day tomorrow, I wish to assure you that security measures have been put in place and adequate personnel deployed to ensure that the public enjoy all the celebrations in a safe and secure environment. Similarly, security officers shall patrol within the estates and the city center to ensure law and order is fully maintained.
All right, a special edition of that. We will be focusing on that tonight on KTN Weekend Prime with John Alanamu and myself. A conversation on land, an issue that has continued to be controversial since independence. So please do stay tuned for that and more tonight on KTN Weekend Prime. Let's take you back to that story that we had promised you earlier. Kenya being one of the first African countries to establish the SOS Children's Homes. Founded in 1971, the SOS Homes have provided a safe haven and upbringing for thousands of children, some of whom have risen to positions of responsibility in society.
Some children have never had a home. They practically live on the streets. Others even become criminals. But there are those who are lucky in one way or another. They find their way into a children's home. They don't have parents, but they have a place to call home, a mother figure, a family, and access to basic needs. Save Our Souls, popularly known as SOS Children's Village, is one of the largest international centers found in 133 countries. In Kenya, there are 5 branches with at least 10 to 15 houses in each village.
After the Second World War, the experience of our founder Herman Gmeiner was that in the small city of Innsbruck, he saw too many children roaming around without perspective, without home, without care, and therefore he came up with this idea: we don't want them to be put away into a huge house somewhere outside the city. We want them to be part of the city.
However, the center can only accommodate a specific number of children at a time.
This village has 16 family houses. In an SOS village, each family house can take a maximum of 10 children. So the maximum number of children who we can hold here is 160, but right now we have 154.
Other than being the honorary SOS president, Kutin is also the SOS grandfather.
My own family is any SOS Children's Village around the world which works well. At one junction in my life I decided either I go with the SOS Children's Village family or I go with my own family. And the decision was I go with the SOS Children's Village family.
Like many other children, the SOS children rejoice in the company of their grandfather. Seated nearby is Joseph Mathenge, who recently captured headlines, both locally and internationally, for his outstanding work. Mathenge is a multiple award-winning photojournalist, having won the Media Council of Kenya Award, the Mohamed Amin Award, and the prestigious CNN Photojournalist of the Year Award. He is happy to share his pride and joy with his grandfather. He too grew up in this village.
In the gender's ways, I was 12 years old then. Yeah.
From where? From within Nairobi?
From within Nairobi. Yeah. After we lost my parents, that's when I joined.
Born in a family of 6, the children were separated upon the death of their parents.
I'm actually the second born, even though we were born triplets. Yeah, and you know, even in the triplets set up again, I was the one who came out second. So that's how I became a second born. Yes.
So the 3 triplets were brought up here?
No, they were not brought up here. Not all of them were brought up here. Yeah, there were other challenges that we had to tackle. Even that time, when we were coming to SOS, there were not enough facilities. There were no vacancies for all of us. So some of us had to go somewhere else, and others came here. That's what happened.
Mathenke found a new family complete with a father figure.
Reach a lot of protocols, as you say.
And a mother for every house in the village. For this village, provision goes beyond just basic needs.
Responsibility of our mothers is care. And within the space of care, we ask our mothers to provide a home for children, normal home, where a mother provides not just care but also offers leadership, transfers skills and knowledge to the children, monitors their growth, is able to help the children to break what you'd call emotional and social boundaries. A lot of our children who come, some of them have a big burden on their shoulders of where they come from. Some were already aware that they were orphaned.
At the age of 23, Mathenke decided to move out and pursue his dreams.
After I decided, I realized that now I was now able to take care of myself. I approached the then father of SOS, Tony Haniga. I told him now I want to be independent. I can now rent a house out here and become independent. That's how it started.
Joseph Mathenke is now living his dream, and he has a message for everyone.
Because of their background, there some will not even give you a room to do what you can, maybe feel you can do. Probably you don't have, you need that motherly love, which again we had here. But when I went out there, I still encountered all these problems. But that did not stop me from being what I wanted to be. I was able to pursue my dream even when I was in that situation.
There are over 80,000 children being raised in SOS children villages worldwide. Mumbwa Mwoki for KTN.
All right, and we leave it there for now. We will continue to follow up, like we promised you, the situation in Mombasa County. Of course, tweets coming in about that. Njabia says the risk of cholera outbreak is at its highest in your county right now. He's tweeting both the governor and the senator of that county. He's asking what measures are being taken. Thank you, Njabia. We'll continue to ask that of the county government as well. John Juma keeping a tab on that. Also, don't forget to join us for our subsequent bulletins. KTN Leo Weekendi with Mwanaisha Chizuga and KTN Weekend Prime with John Alanamo and myself. In the meantime, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Have a good afternoon. See you again later. My name is Yvonne Okwara Matole.